Hello, so I came with an idea that I've noticed has never been done before, but don't you dare fact check me. I wonder how many doors there are in Fnaf. Yeah, I'm not sure where I'm going with this. Welcome to part 1 of every door in Fnaf. This was originally going to be one full video, but due to the amount of Fnaf games over the years, I decided splitting it up into multiple parts would be a better option. But before we start, I would like to start with some rules about the games I'll be going over, and what I count as being counted towards the door counter, and how they are gonna be calculated. First of all, every mainline game, troll game, variations, and spin-offs will be included in these videos, and at the end, we will have a final counter for each category, including the final counter of all doors and all categories counted up. Secondly, for it to count as a door, you either have to be able to physically see it, or if a door is mentioned through audio in some way that hasn't already been counted previously, we will also include it to the counter. It doesn't matter if it is clearly supposed to be there. If you can't see it, or if you don't hear it throughout the game, it won't be counted. Thirdly, double doors will count as two separate doors, as they are pretty much just two doors stacked right next to each other. And lastly, if at some point I have missed a door that you have noticed, then tell me in the comments and I'll look back, and if I have, then I'll add it to the counter. Now that the rules out, let's get into the game we'll cover on this part. We will be checking out FNAF 1, 2, 3, 4, Sister Location, and both FNAF 3 and Sister Location troll games. So with that, let's start with the troll game for FNAF 3 and Sister Location. What I would say if they actually had any doors. And yes, I did look through them, and there isn't a single door in sight. So, these will probably be the least amount of doors in a set of games we will find in the series. Now for real this time, let's get on with FNAF 1, as when you load up the first night, right off the bat, we already have two doors on the left and the right of your office. Now with the door count at 2, we can find the next two doors on the cameras. One in the janitor closet, as it only appears in that camera, as it doesn't appear in the hallway camera, and the other one we can find is in the camera inside of parts and service. Originally, I thought there was two more doors in the cameras that you could find near the bathrooms, but actually looking in that cam, I noticed that the bathrooms don't actually have any doors, as they are just empty frames. The last door in this game is actually not found in a physical form, but in a verbal form in the Night 4 phone call, as we can hear door bang from outside the room the phone is calling us from.
Oh, hey, wow, day 4, I knew you could do it. Hey, listen, I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow.
And doing research to make sure I wasn't making any mistakes, I believe that he isn't recording these in the room you're in, so that adds the final door of this game to our counter. As we leave the first game that actually has doors, the total door count is at 5 doors. A lot less than I thought I was going to find in this game, but hey, it'll increase a whole lot during the rest of the games in the future.
Pretty sure that's Freddy.
Oh, god damn it! You're Freddy!
FNAF 2 starts differently, as there is an intro to this game, which doesn't actually mean anything to the series, as there aren't any doors in it, even with it brightened. This will also apply with all iterations of this cutscene upon beaten nights, as they don't add any doors. Starting with the first night, there aren't actually any doors in your office, but hey, this game has so many more spots for there to be doors, so maybe we can still be on par with FNAF 1. Unfortunately, after looking at every camera, I only found a single door being the parts and services door. Even though I only found a single door in the camera in this game, when you die, you have a rare chance to enter a minigame. And in one specific minigame, where you play as Freddy and have to give some kids some cake, there are 2 to 3 more doors. The front door to the building, and this can be debatable, but Wilma's car looks like it has 2 doors on the side we can see. This would mean FNAF 2 is ending at a solid 4 doors total. After FNAF 2, our total door counter has gone all the way up to a total of 9 doors. All we need is one more door, then we get into the double digits. So let's move on to the next. FNAF 3 is a horror attraction, which means I didn't think it was going to have many doors in the establishment, which I'm correct, as most of the doors come from the minigame. When we count up the amount of doors the building has, we have the exit door and exit door number 2. This must be a hint to exit the building and never come back, and why are we even staying here for the rest of the night? If I saw this, I would be out there so fast I wouldn't be able to remember what I saw. I was considering whether I should have included the vent seals, but didn't due to 2 reasons, and that being, I don't actually know what the seals look like, And to add to that, the second reason is I can't actually see it. I do know that you can hear it, but because of the first reason, I don't know what they look like. I don't know if they're actually doors. Now let's get to the meat of the doors in this game, the minigames. Every minigame in FNAF 3 has 2 doors except for 2 of them. The glitch minigame and the happiest day minigame. Both only have 1 door. The glitch minigame you enter by clicking the shadow Bonnie figure on the right of your desk on night 5, and the door is in the room you spawn in. The same thing can be said about the happiest day as you enter it by double-clicking the puppet drawing on the right wall of Cam 3 on any night. And again, the only door here is the exit door in the room you spawn in. Now before we leave FNAF 3, let's address the last section of the game, and they are the pixelated sections in between nights. The other room you get dismantled as the other animatronics by William has a boarded up door. But either I'm just dumb, and this is just a really wide door, but to me, it looks like a double door, so this will be counted as 2 doors. This brings the amount of doors in FNAF 3 to 14 doors. The highest number of doors we've seen in a FNAF game so far are by 9 doors. A huge upgrade from FNAF 1 and 2, as it has more doors than those 2 combined. And with FNAF 3 out of the way, this brings the total door count to a whopping 23 doors, a huge difference from the previous count of 9 doors. And with that, let's move on to FNAF 4.
You son of a bitch! Jesus. Okay, so the first night is never usually that bad in any of the games, so I'll play through. Ah, fuck! What the fuck?
On to FNAF 4, which is personally my least favorite gameplay-wise, as I have a massive skill issue. Anyways, back to the main topic. This game goes back to having 2 doors in your room, is what I was originally going to say, as I didn't think the closet classified as a door. But doing some research on different type of closet doors, I will count these on the same scale as double doors, so there are actually 4 doors in your room. Unfortunately, those are the only doors you can see in the actual FNAF gameplay section. Even Fun with Plushtrap doesn't have any doors. Although, this game also has cutscenes in between nights, like FNAF 3, which contain doors. During the first cutscene, you can see one door that I cried in front of after walking into it for a little bit. During the second cutscene, the door that we couldn't previously go through is just not there. But after leaving your room, you can see the front door before getting jump scared by the crying child's older brother, Michael, when you walk on the carpet. During the third cutscene, you're in Fredbear's family diner, and right behind you, there are a set of double doors just right there. In the fourth cutscene, you're still in Fredbear's family diner, but now you can walk to the right outside where previously a Fredbear suit was blocking it, and are greeted with another set of double doors. Now, this car situation is more interesting than during the FNAF 2 Fredbear minigame. I would say, like previously, that these cars have 2 doors on one side, but as they are more detailed than before, they only have 1 on each side, since clearly the door wouldn't fit there, as I previously thought on the car before. And I thought that this dark part was the door. After walking forward for a little bit, you can see another car fully, which shows that it isn't a door. But at least this car has a door that we can add to the counter. The fifth cutscene features the crying child in what I assume is the person service room of Fredbear's, which there isn't anywhere to go in here, so there is just the one door in this cutscene for the parts and services. And the final cutscene doesn't have any doors. I just wanted to have an excuse to put the Bite of 87 meme in here.
Hey guys, I think the little man said he wants to give Fredbear a big kiss. On 3, 1, 2. Was that the Bite of 87?
And with that, we have a final FNAF 4 door count of 12 doors. 2 less than 3, but still a good amount of doors. But before we leave the FNAF 4 category, let's put the other FNAF 4 out of the way.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is literally just FNAF 4, but it has Halloween-style animatronics, so it has the same amount of doors. And yes, I will count this as if they had doors, the Trolls Ember FNAF 3 and Sister Location would have counted. So FNAF 4 Halloween Edition also has a final count of 12 doors. With all these games, and before we go on to our final game, Sister Location, we have a final door count of 47 doors. And hopefully by the end of Sister Location, we'll go over 50, which I know it will.
Exotic Butters.
Here we go, the final game of part 1, and this is hopefully going to boost our count to high numbers. So let's shift our focus to the Start Elevator, in which if we use the logic that I previously used, then the elevator door should count as 2 doors. So that's what I'm going to do. After going through the door and crawling through the vent, you come into a room with Ballora to your left, Funtime Fox to your right, and Circus Baby if you continue forward. But what we are really looking for in this room are the 3 vent doors that you use to get to the respective rooms. Now let's quickly move on to the second night of Sister Location, which is a lot of the same stuff until you get to Circus Baby's room again. This time, the power goes out, and you have to hide under the desk, and to block the biddy babs, you have to pull this thing in front of you. Now this could be debatable, but I don't think I'll consider this as a door, as it just looks like a random piece of metal that's just under the desk. But to make up for this, when you take a left into Ballora's room, at the end you have to go through a door to get to Freddy. Night 3 is pretty much the same as Night 2 and Night 1, but instead of going to the left through Ballora's room to Freddy, instead you go to the right to Funtime's Foxy's room and across until you reach the door to Freddy, again, for parts and services. So not much to talk about. There's even less to talk about during Night 4, as the only gameplay is when you're in this Springlock suit, so there isn't any new doors that you can see. Night 5 has 2 doors you can find after doing the baby section, as you can follow the instructions and go right, which will lead you to get Scoop and get the bad end. Although, if you go left, if you haven't done the necessary requirements, then it'll just say access denied. The requirement to open the door is to feed all the children in the baby minigame you get sometimes when dying, and then pick up the ice cream at the end, then bring it back to the start, and you experience Elizabeth getting scooped by Baby. When you enter the private room, you remember the more traditional FNAF style, and you only have 3 doors in here, being the 2 doors on your left and right, and the vent door in front of you. There are actually thermal doors that you can actually see, though they aren't on any of the cameras. If you type 1983 on the pad in front of you, it will show the FNAF 4 room, although you can only see the closet and the left door, and for that reason, I'm only counting 3 doors instead of 4. Now this would be the end for this location, but Scott made an update to it on the 1st of December back when it was originally released, and added a custom night, which can also have 3 doors because I don't think the 1983 Easter egg works for the custom night, but you can double check that if you want to. After each custom night challenge, there is a cutscene that plays, although between all, they have the same door count of 5, so all of them aren't really worth mentioning. The only thing I'll say is that I can't tell if the very last cutscene has any doors, even though I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I just thought it was a thing to bring up. After adding up every door I could find in Sister Location, I can say it has a total amount of 23 doors, making it the highest number of doors in the end of Part 1. Alright, so I don't know what I was on at this point, but I magically found 2 doors that never existed in the first place for Sister Location. So there are really only 21 doors, not 23. I also like to remove a door from FNAF 2 from the Freddy minigame, as I came to the conclusion that the door only has 1 door on the side. But also, when I mention the total amount of doors for all the games, and I say 70, I really mean 67 doors. And by the end, after counting up every door from the games we have discussed in this part, our total door count has reached 70 doors, with the most number of doors coming from Sister Location. And so we reached the end of the first part. If someone actually decided to watch through this whole video, then I'll be impressed, as this video is really boring. Anyways, I'll see you in part 2 later, not right away. I'll make some videos in between these parts, but with that all said, goodbye.